Good morning folks, John here. Now, a couple of weeks ago I joined a young man called Stephen Karovic to film some modifications that he'd done to his BMW 325D, and he called those series of modifications OEM Plus. And the reason he called them OEM Plus because he felt those are the kind of modifications that should have been done originally on the car before it even got to the customer. And if you want to have a look back, I'll put a link to the video in the description. At the end of that video, Stephen said that he was looking to make further modifications to the car. The next modification he wanted to do was to modify the performance of the gearbox. His plan was to modify and get more performance out of the gearbox without using a single spanner or screwdriver. He was going to do the whole thing using nothing more than an OBD dongle and his iPhone. So having got the dongle and the software, Steve called me to see if I would like to go along and film the process of reflashing his BMW gearbox using his iPhone. And here's that video right now.
So it amazes me the fact that this car's coming up to 8 years old. It'll be 8 years old in September. But it was the last year of the model run, so this gearbox has been in these 3 series for 13, 14, maybe even 15 years.
Yeah.
But it just amazes me that with a bit of
software
and apps, modern day apps,
yeah,
that you can completely change the characteristics.
We're just driving along, aren't we? And we're seeing how the car is now before reflashing the gearbox.
Yeah, so it's called XHP Gearbox software, and all the forums say that this is the remap that makes the most difference. You can up the power of the car, you can do all of that, but actually changing the calibration of the gearbox is the thing that really makes the most difference. The main thing that I'm looking for, well, it does a number of different things, but it quickens up the gear shifts, because this is an older ZF box, and it quickens up the gear shifts to put them in time with the dual clutch. And the other thing that I find a real pain with this is if you come up to a junction, I call it a stop go. So you stop, make sure nothing's there, and then you go almost immediately. So you're only stopped for a very short amount of time. It doesn't change down to first gear, so it holds it into second gear as default. Put your foot down a bit, it moves off in second gear, and then it lurches down into first because it wants a bit more power.
So what are you expecting as a result of the reflash then? For it to go down to first as you slow down, or
as you slow down and come to a stop, it'll go straight down to first gear.
Right.
And then when you pull away, it's already in first gear to go into second to go into third.
Right.
So you've got 2 things you need to buy for this, which is the XHP license. Now that enables you to change all sorts of parameters yourself.
Yeah.
So you can set up any map you like, change the gear shifts of when they change, all on your phone. But most people aren't confident with that, and they don't really know what they're doing, like me. I don't want to fiddle around with parameters myself and when stuff's changing.
So basically the XHP license, that's what we're talking about, that's what we're talking about now.
So it flashes the gearbox. It includes all of the custom functions, shift map editor, and custom launch control. But this is all stuff that you have to program yourself, which, if you're not confident like me, I don't know what the parameters are supposed to be and everything like that. XHP also sell you a map pack, and that map pack you buy it once, which it's about half the price of the original license.
Yeah.
But you get stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 all installed, and you just select stage 1 or stage 2 or stage 3.
So it stops you going into getting yourself in a mess.
Predetermined. Stage 1 is economy, which does improve the fuel economy.
Yes.
So if that's the way you're inclined, stage 1's for you. Stage 2 is a bit of a middle ground where it's got the best of both worlds. It's sporty but economical as well. Yeah. And then stage 3 is classed as race.
And once you do a stage 1, 2, or 3, once you've chosen that, can you change the stages after?
Because I bought the dongle,
right,
and I've got all the licenses with this car, I can select any one of these at any point.
Right.
So I can, I can do stage 3 for a week and then spend 10 minutes reflashing the car, and it goes back.
And you reflash it through the mobile phone. phone?
Yeah, it's all
right through
all
an
done,
app.
all done through the app. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Shift times
Yeah.
are 50% faster in S&M mode,
Yeah,
which is sport, and
Yeah.
then they're also 25% faster in D mode. I'm expecting a quicker 0 to 60 time, even
Yeah.
though we're not changing the engine's power. So what
Yep.
we're going to do is we're going to go and find
a road,
a
safe
bit of a
road.
safe road, put it in sport, do a 0 to 60, get a base time, we'll go back home, reflash it. We've got to do a 50-mile drive, gentle drive, just to get the adaptations warmed up on the gearbox.
Yep.
And then we'll do another 0 to 60 run and see what the difference is.
Okay, so we're going to do a 0 to 60 test. We've got an app on the phone,
Yeah.
and we've got the GoPro monitoring the speed.
Yeah,
So
we've got a nice clear section of road.
Yep.
Just wait. With it just in sport mode,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use the paddles, I'm not going to use the manual transmission or anything.
so there's no launch control on these,
No,
is there?
not at the
No, so we
moment,
just
so-
right.
So, we're just
Okay,
gonna-
folks.
Ready?
Yeah, yeah. Starting the process now. So we've got the app on here.
You got your Thor dongle that we need.
So that dongle, did that come with the app, or was
No,
you bought
I
it
had to buy
separately?
that separately. We won't say how much it cost and how long it took to get here, but it was
Right.
rather more than it should have been. But they've only just, XHP have only just released the software for the iOS. And it's been
Right.
out on Android for ages.
Right.
And with Android, all you need is a cable. And you
Okay.
can plug it in. But I've only got iOS devices, so for me to regularly swap through the maps, I had to buy. the
So this
proper-
is this
proper
is an
stuff.
optional thing instead of a cable. Just have a look at that, Steve. So we
It's
can
called
see
a
what
Thor
Yeah.
to OBD. It's wireless.
So it converts, instead of a cable, it
That's
sends
it.
a wireless signal to your. Is it Bluetooth or is it wireless?
It's Wi-Fi.
No, so it's
it's
genuinely
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi,
enabled.
right? So it's
So-
going into the OBD
OBD,
port
if we
with
can-
that dongle, and
There you
it's
go.
lit up.
So,
Look,
yeah,
there
it's
you
lit
go.
up.
Because there's a little light just come on there. Let's get that. There it is.
Now there's a couple of things I'm going to do on here because we're going to run with the ignition on. So
Yeah.
we're going to make sure the fan's off, because we don't want to drain the battery.
Yeah.
Make sure the fan's off, make sure the lights are off.
Yeah.
Go into the vehicle settings and turn off the daytime running lights as well,
Yeah.
because they're on. So we'll turn that one off.
So basically, he's
so
turning
that's
everything off.
Unplugged everything, unplugged the dash cam,
Yeah.
so there's nothing draining battery. Okay.
Okay.
So I've done all that. I've also plugged the seatbelt in, even though I'm not sat in it, because that'll keep the ignition on.
Right.
So ignition's on.
Okay.
We've just got to check we've done everything. Not to open or close the doors. Ignition has to be turned on, which it is. Transmission into park. All auxiliary devices are turned off. Seatbelt's plugged in. Set your device to flight mode. And then we've got to connect to it.
Right.
So,
So the OBD reader is in there. All we're doing now is connecting.
to Thor Wi-Fi.
So it generates its own Wi-Fi hotspot. That's the way it's working.
Which is connected.
So it's connected now to the phone.
And
That's
then we'll
good.
Go back into here, and that should be it. We should be good to go. So
Right.
we should get, if there's a problem, we should have error messages. So go into my cars. That's my car. I've already bought the flash license and the map pack
Specifically for your car.
specifically for the car.
Right.
And then what we do is we go.
Can we ask how much it costs for the app for that pack for your
So
car?
the license is £134, and then the map pack is £60 odd. So
Okay.
just under 200 quid for the lot.
200 quid. Right. Okay.
And then what we do is we go, just make sure that's the right one. Click it and see what happens. Flash license, you have successfully redeemed your flash license voucher. Good. So then we click this, press flash.
And there it is. It's very
There we
clear.
are.
Look, it just says touring stage 1, 2 or 3. Very simple.
And then what we
Or
do.
stock. Well, it's that
So
simple.
yeah, you can upload it to stock as well. Now what I want to do, and here are all your flash settings. So we haven't done it yet, but these are all the things you can turn on or off and everything like
So
that.
can we have, yeah, so we've got things like throttle blip, that's it. as well.
So you can turn that on or off.
Well, that's good. So you can turn a throttle blip on.
Yeah.
Shift speed M mode. So you can,
Gear display, that's going to be good, because at the moment it only says D or S when you're on the...
So it'll tell you which gear...
D1,
wow,
D2,
this is
D3.
really good. So this is giving you a heck of a lot of functionality.
Yeah. And at the moment, when you're in sport mode, it doesn't change into 6th gear. But this allows it to be able to change into 6th gear when you're in sport mode, so when you're on the motorway.
Right.
So this is all downloaded. So let's press flash. Stage 3, that's what we want. Press flash. Got my phone on airplane mode. Do you want to apply custom flash settings?
Yep.
Version 3 latest.
It's giving you a warning now.
All the rules in chapter 2 choose proper. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's doing something now. It's saying transmission fault. Some functions of the gear may be faulty. That's absolutely fascinating. We've got a gear light.
It doesn't stay like that.
Yeah, I don't think it will. That's interesting. So we've got the gear light come on, and we've got transmission fault being displayed on the dash. So clearly something's happening with the dashboard to show that the gearbox is being affected. Going through the process, it's clearly about approximately 3 minutes. It's pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Interesting though, because what's fascinating is the way it instantly came up with gear transmission fault.
So it obviously communicates very, very quickly.
It's going in real quick. Now got a new one, which is ABS brake failure. Now the dash has gone off completely. Everything's gone off.
We're at 80% complete.
So it says 80% complete, and at that point we did see brake ABS failure come up there very briefly, and now the dash is completely gone. Interesting. So we're a bit worried. I think we are a bit worried,
We'll be all right.
but not. But we're quietly confident.
99.
Finalising flash. Brake gliding stabilisation error. Now coming up, it says failed, and now it's gone back to clean.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Please turn your ignition off to continue.
Okay.
So let's turn it off.
And it was interesting that all this fault's just cleared instantaneously, and it all went back to normal.
Continue. Wait 10 seconds before turning your ignition on again.
So it's giving you a complete countdown. Look. Please turn on your ignition. So he's going to hit that button. Okay, he's turned it back on. There are no fault codes. Well, certainly no transmission faults.
So it's clearing the fault codes.
It's now clearing the fault codes, look. So we have some codes there coming up.
Success. Flash finally finished successful.
But we still do have... oh no, it's gone. There you go. So it's clear. Everything's been cleared. And it does say...
Success.
Success. Having flashed it, should we turn on the... I think
Let's
the most
turn
important
on the
one
gear
is
display so we can actually see if something works.
Yeah, and also the very important one is the throttle blips.
Okay.
Very important to make us sound like a rally
this
driver.
is another one. Stay in second gear at standstill. I don't want that on.
No.
I want that to drop down to first.
So that was the problem you were talking about.
Yeah. If you do a stop-go junction, it doesn't change down to first. And then you put your foot down, it tries to move off on second, lurches back down to first, and then back to second.
And
I don't want that.
That is disableable in the app. That's amazing. Custom launch control.
All right, we'll turn that one on.
Now, unplug the dongle. We've started the car.
Yeah.
It is displaying the modes that we put in, certainly for showing what gear you're in. So that's worked.
Running lights back on.
And we're now going to go for it says to go for a 50-mile drive is
Very
what we're
leisurely,
going to do.
very
leisurely 50-mile drive.
But it's going to be interesting to see if we can feel any difference just in the drive mode. you know,
Yeah.
with it in D with the throttle responses. So
Okay,
let's go.
Let's go. So there we so we just stopped at some lights there, and it
Roadworks.
dropped straight to first, no problem.
So
no
we've done a couple of miles now, and I feel like it's had the run-in period, which is you've got to take a gentle cruise just to make sure the parameters are right.
So that's what we've done. And you did notice when we were cruising on the motorway just now. You said that in sport mode you've noticed.
So yeah, so in completely stock form, when it's in sport mode, it won't drop. It won't go up to 6th gear. It'll hold it into 5th. It'll never go into 6th unless you manually touch it, manually put it in yourself. But we just tried it, accelerated up off a roundabout, and it carried on straight into 6th gear. So the flash is definitely on here. It's definitely working. We've got the gear indicator.
Yeah. So you're saying 6th gear whilst in sport mode?
Yeah. And
at cruising speeds.
There's a definite decrease in the time it's taking the gearbox to shift as well.
We're now going to test the downshift. Is that right?
Yeah, so
see if it's made any difference.
We're in 5th.
Yeah. Yeah.
In manual mode, sport mode, and I'm going to tap this twice to get to 3rd. We'll see how quickly it does that.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. And I was straight into
There we
3rd.
go. So
away we're going.
I reckon in less than a second.
Oh, it's more or less than that. But you see, in standard mode, it would change from, because I pressed it twice, it would go 5th, 4th, 3rd. Whereas this,
it's gone straight to 3rd.
Straight to 3rd.
That's amazing.
So I'll do it again.
Let's do it again. Yep. So we're in 5th at the moment.
There.
2 clicks. It's instant.
Straight away.
Instant. We're going to try a second 0 to 60 test, having reflashed the gearbox now.
Yeah.
So
we're on the same section of road, same conditions. We're all ready to go. We've got the GoPro set up. We're going to be in sport automatic mode. I'm not going to change gear with the paddles or using the gear stick. I'm just going to let it do its thing, exactly the same as before. And I'm just going to put my foot on the accelerator and see what the difference is. Now we've got the stage 3 map on here.
Okay, so start the GoPro, start your app as well.
That started, ready.
Yep.
So according to this cheap app, that's 0.95 seconds quicker than our original run where everything was stock.
Right, so that really has made a big difference according to the app. We will put it. I will put it on the video and put a clock on the video.
The GoPro's running,
yeah, so we'll take the GoPro footage. We'll put a stop clock on that as well.
Yeah.
And see if that is.
See if this cheap app is actually
exactly accurate. Yeah. So I hope you found that video as fascinating and as interesting as I did. Now Steve has got plans to take these modifications to another level, and what he's going to do next is have his car professionally remapped so that the engine produces a much greater performance than it already does, and that video I will upload as soon as Steve's done it. In the meantime, stay safe and thanks for watching.